Well, I tried a members only live, and I don't know if I did something wrong, but it was a ghost town. So we're just gonna do a public one then. Most of my members all come in here anyway. We'll see if anybody shows up. Hey, Brandon. So I tried a members only live, sat there for a little bit, and who's who's Josh? I don't know that person. But nice to see you, pilgrims. Jay High, Ron, Matt, Adam. Matt, welcome to my live. Land Yacht. Where were you, Land Yacht? I tried a members only live and it didn't work. Sat there for a while with nobody there. It was like, okay, we'll try this one then. D, Eric, Chain Hoist, everybody. Lone Wrench. Yes, Brandon, I remember you. Can't forget you. Hey, Redneck Rebuilds. Cowboy. So as you can see, the Volare is coming along. Yep, Land Yacht. The YouTube's a little slow with notifications. I'm glad you at least got one, because I went live on here and I'm reading the comments over on this iPad, and it probably took almost 2 minutes before it popped up. Hey, John. Anyway, thank you guys for jumping in. I know I already did a live this week with Inevitable Jim. It was one of the reasons why he came by. I thought we were going to wrench on the Volare, but we decided to do a live instead and then have dinner. And he should be on a plane headed back to Cedar Rapids today. But I did have Wrenching with Ray, my old buddy Ray from Pontiac Power Hour days. He showed up and came into the shop and just started digging into tools. He got the old chop saw out. He brought me a custom chin spoiler he built for one of his cars that didn't fit. So we're going to see if we can fit it under the Volare here. Give it that race car look. Let's see. I don't want to miss all the chat. Let's see. Cantankerous is here. 411 now. Jay Hi. Thanks for watching, Irish. Jay and I have been friends, well, for a long, long time. And unfortunately, he lives way too far away, or I'd be up there right now wrenching with him in the cold. But he doesn't have a garage. So, I mean, he does, but he doesn't use it for cars. And it's just way too cold for me. But it's also a very long drive. I will be going up there. I told him he really wants the old Buick, the 55 that's sitting outside. And I'll be honest, I did get the parts to do the next video for that. And I know people have been waiting for it. But, you know, Mopars, German cars, got to get those out of here. But he really wants that 55 Buick. And I told him if he finds me something in his stable of cars that he has that he's willing to let off the property, I'll bring him a 55 Buick. But so far that hasn't happened. He doesn't really get rid of cars. So at some point, maybe we'll make a trade and he can end up with the 55. Hey, there's Jay now. I see him in here. Augie's here. Brandon's wearing the Doing Buff Stuff shirt and the ladies like it. They always double take it, and that's what's really funny. Chain hoist looking like a time machine. Kind of. It's different. It made it all the way back from the desert, and I'm going to eliminate it. We've got the Edelwalk, the Chinese carb on there. The Chinese Edelbrock Performer intake. I didn't have any Mopar orange, so I used this that was in the shop, Popsicle Orange. That's what I had laying around. So now it's performance. Am I ever planning on doing anything with a Datsun pickup? Yes. I looked everywhere for a starter because I wasn't sure if I locked up the engine or if the starter was bad. I'm going to go with starter's bad because that would be better. And basically couldn't find a starter. Now one of the subscribers says they can get one. They have to send it off and have it rebuilt and back. So I may do that, but I also bought some NOS parts, literally very, very old, but still in the box parts to rebuild the starter, and I might do that. But either way, you're going to see it because I got a whole lowering setup over there for the Datsun. So as much as people say don't lower the Datsun, the parts are already purchased. It's going to happen. And then who knows what happens with the Datsun. It may stay, it may go. Not too worried about it. I can't keep them all. This one's going to go away eventually. Hammer Wrench, nice to see you. Redneck wants to know, duct tape drags, but in Missouri call it rusty junk drags. I mean, if you can get the sponsors and the people to show up, heck yeah. Hello, Kelly Richard from LA. I hope you are safe. All right, I'm losing some of the chat, so I apologize if I miss you. Jay does drive them all. That's kind of the problem. He doesn't have anything he wants to give away, and I get that. Brent, hello from Kansas. Sorry, Brent, but I hope it's going well for you. Alicia says hello from Henniger, Alabama. I assume that's Alabama. Frank likes the Volare. It's quite beautiful. About to be beautifuler. I've got to do this part first, and then, no, I'm not painting it, but I might spruce it up a little bit. Like somebody was doing house painting or barn painting or something, and there's just white speckles all over it. And I've been taking, paint thinner and reducer and just kind of wiping the paint off. I'm not trying to fix the paint. I'm just getting back to what it was at some point. It has patina. Mainly, I just don't want to paint it. I'm kind of done painting. I didn't like how the last paint job went, and so I'm just kind of done. Let's see. Bob Loblaw, I don't know what. Bob. Let's just go with Bob. He had a 78 Mopar orange with black stripes and a 360. I wish I had a 360. That'd be great. And let's see. I said Edel Block. I just got it. So somebody called it the Edel Walk. Like, walk. Well, it is Chinese. I thought it was funny. Land Yacht says, how many vehicles do I have? Like right here with me or in total? Because I got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm up to like 16, but down from 22. So I guess that's pretty good. Robert, hello from Southeast Kansas. That's not too far from me. Probably within an hour, hour and a half. PBG had no luck with the Chinesium carb. Why do you think I ended up with it? That was from, it's already gone. Sorry. Yeah, so the guy who got us, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, see the old Mopar flag up there? Dalton bought the wagon from a guy named Phil in Vegas. And Phil was a very generous man, and he had all kinds of cool stuff. He gave me that flag. He helped us with the wheels and gave us a shop to work in for that. But he was doing some product testing and had this Chinese carburetor, and he just said, take it. And Dalton says, I don't want it. So I said, I'll take it and we'll try to use it. So then I had to compare it with a Chinese intake, and here it is, ready to go. I won't tell if it worked or not. You'll have to wait for the video. Chris McKee, how's the weather? I'm freezing in Northwest Pennsylvania. Well, yesterday I had the mini split going. I had the kerosene heater going, which it's still over here. I had the wood stove going. I had everything going. And at full blast, this place was 40 degrees. It was about 8 degrees with wind chill. It was below 0 Fahrenheit. It was horrible. Now today, we've warmed up. It got up to like 40 degrees outside. And so the heaters are keeping up. And at one point on the apartment side, it was over 80 degrees in there. And on this side, it's been around 65, 70. So we were actually working in t-shirts earlier, but the sun's down now, so it's cooling off. Louise, it's going well today. Let's see. Joey, what's the plan? Well, you're looking at it. Make the engine pretty, give it a little bit more air in. Gonna work on the exhaust, cut some of that out. Like, I know that the catalytic converter is probably plugged, because not only could you smell it, but Dalton could smell it miles away when he was following me. It wasn't just gas, it was catalytic converter. So yeah, probably gonna just cut that out and not leave it open, although that would be kind of race car. Just put in a patch pipe and call it good. At some point, Wrenching with Ray, if you check him out on YouTube, he's got a kind of a boom tube setup that he's working on. He's a heck of a fabricator. If he can come up with some boom tube exhaust, I would love for him to make me up one. I'll put it on the channel, link it to him, and you guys can buy your boom tubes from him. That's pretty cool. That would give it a NASCAR look and sound. Splatter paint it, Jay High says. Well, it kind of already is. It's already kind of splattered. So let's clean it up, make it look cleaner and prettier. Let's see. No more magic paint. If possible, no. I really, really like Vansicle. Whether it's in the, the big spray gun or in the cans, Vansicle has been great stuff. From their primer all the way up to their gloss finish. They have a clear gloss. They have a clear gloss. So like this is a satin black, and it really works good for like frames and under wheel wells, engine parts you want to be clean looking but not stand out. Satin black. But even satin black, if you hit it with shine, this clear gloss, it will make it shine. So if anything is shiny, like a valve cover, you can hit it with this and make it even shinier. Anyway, I like the stuff. It dries pretty well. It's got a durable finish, and it does not have the issues that I had with the other brand. All right, sorry, I'm not scrolling, and that's why I'm confused. Rod Storation said something went wrong. Well, hopefully you can see it. Hello, David Burnt. Kelly Richard, do I have that GMC van still? If you're talking about the A-Team van, no, it's sold. If you're talking about Brian Vantana, yes, but he is currently in storage. I had started a V8 swap and mostly finished it. That video was supposed to come out months ago, but I lost the footage, and so he's sitting there waiting on me to finish. And at some point, I will get a video together and show you the engine swap I did with him. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up now. Cameron says, I don't want to snow on your parade, but it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius in Auckland, New Zealand. As it should be. I wish it was that here. But even now, if I were to go south to try to get warmer, it's no warmer down south. This whole jet stream thing is just screwing everything up. It snowed in New Orleans yesterday. Snow. That's just nuts. Palm trees and snow don't mix. Thriller, thank you. Appreciate you. Joe Perry, you don't need cats in old school cars. Well, believe it or not, with the lean burn, this whole setup that was on the car originally, in 76, they could use this and no cat and still pass the requirements by the government. But of course, by 78, they kind of went ahead and put the lean burn on there and the catalytic converter. But no more lean burn. All right. Michael Stone, what do they smell like to you guys? Rotten eggs. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Doesn't smell good. Chain hoist. This is one of the first years with a catalytic converter. And it works. It's fine, but it smells horrible, and it's probably restrictive to the race car that we need it to be. Not that it's going to be all that fast. It's just a little 318 choked down. It is what it is. Just reading all your comments. Bass clef connoisseur. Auto Alley, hello. Ray, hello. Quebec, Canada, freezing cold. I bet it is. I used to live in Alaska, and heck, there were times in Alaska where I lived that it was warmer there than in Kansas because of the wind chill and everything, the humidity, whatever Midwest has to deal with that you don't deal with necessarily up there. Everybody's talking to each other. Kelly Richard, she's talking about the 18 van. I think a team, but yes, I sold it. That's the difference between me and some of the bigger channels. Maybe someday I'll be a bigger channel, but for now, I am what I am, and I just don't make enough off each video to justify all the money I put into each car. That's nothing against anyone out there. I hear all of your discussions, and I definitely like the ideas that you have. Some of them are very, very creative. Some of them cost way too much money. Like, I got chastised for using Chinese parts on this car, but for the cost of the Chinese parts, I can afford to do what I'm doing. If I had to buy real Edelbrock or Holley or whatever parts, or God forbid Mopar performance parts, I couldn't afford to do what I'm doing. This car would have just been sold, and that'd have been the end of it. So it comes down to, I still do have a budget. I have to keep lights on. And while I appreciate everyone supporting me, at the end of the day, the car's got to either make money on a video or make money from being sold so that I can buy another car. Can't keep them all. Let's see. Hello from Chile, Southwest Virginia. Yeah, I bet it is. Rodney Badger says, at least I'm not using Chevrolet Orange. Don't think I wouldn't if I didn't have it. If I would have had Chevrolet Orange in the cabinet, but it's at my other shop up north, it's the family farm. I have Chevy Orange there because I was using it for the van engine swap. But I looked it up on the old Google, and it said that when you switch your engine parts from the original blue and you go performance, Mopar performance parts should be orange. So Popsicle orange it is. And that's just because that's what I had. Redneck says you can take the cats off old cars in Missouri. Well, I'm going to do it because I'm just going to do it. Come and get me. Wyatt Sunny Adventures says, I see Dalton's genius fuel system still in use. Yes, 25 feet of fuel line. Still there. It's not being used, actually. It just, I haven't removed it yet. I've actually started blowing out the fuel lines backwards to see if I can't blow out anything that was in the fuel line. If it clogs up again, I'll just replace the fuel line all the way back. We won't keep this. But I'm to the point now I'm ready to hook the fuel up and, you know, go the next step. Hey, thanks, Thriller. Appreciate that. Luis says he has a 68 Pontiac Bonneville. That's a cool car. Auto Alley says she needs to learn the ability to sell. I keep everything. Well, when the old bank account, because I don't have another job now, right? You guys know that this is full time for me. That was probably an ignorant decision because I don't necessarily make enough off YouTube to live off of. But the plan was buy the first 3-4 cars, make YouTube videos, sell 3-4 cars, have enough money to buy more cars, and just keep it going with just a tiny bit of profit in between, just enough to keep lights on, keep parts flowing through the door. And I'll be honest, the Vegas trip, which was not my plan, that was Dalton's plan, it definitely impacted the budget to the point that it got a little tight this month. So Chinese parts. That's where we're at. That is what it is. So selling cars becomes a necessity, not necessarily a want. If I could keep them all, I would. But at some point, okay, I can flip this car, make $200-300, and now I'm back in the game. You know, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't sell these cars for a huge profit. In fact, if you actually add it up, if you count labor, I would definitely be at a loss. But I'm not counting labor. I'm just counting parts and that kind of stuff. And so I make just enough that I can buy a few more parts for the next project. Let's see. Yes, Lone Wrench Garage. He's the gentleman that bought the A-Team van. I didn't realize he came in as Lone Wrench Garage, so sorry I missed that. Cameron says the fuel line looks like Back to the Future or Mad Max. I think that's what we're going for, is Mad Max with it, but it's not staying. That's what, as you saw, got me home. John is late getting here. Maybe I already talked about it. How's the condition of the 318? It's orange and Chinesey. It is. It's there. It fired up 2 days ago, but now I got Chinese parts on it, so I don't know. Chinese turbo. That sounds like a lot of effort to fabricate things to make it work. I'm not saying I couldn't find it or even do it, just not there yet. Let's just start with simple stuff like this, which is actually not simple. We had to fabricate stuff to make the carburetor work. It'll work once we get the fuel on it and put it all back together. Just drop the distributor back in. I listened to Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage, who knows engines, and I got the stuff he recommended. So thanks, Jay. Found it. All right. Cowboy's going to buy some merch. Appreciate it. Anyone waiting on merch, please don't hate me right now. It's not because I'm just sitting here not putting out merch. We sold out of hoodies, and that's awesome. But in the process, I had to order more hoodies. But with the fires, the snowstorms, and whatever other excuse that I've had, I was waiting on the new ones to come in so I can ship them out. And also, I've had a couple of orders that the tracking numbers are still out there. The thing still exists, but it hadn't moved. So I'm hoping I don't have that problem again. Hey, thanks, William. But if you do order, we're trying to get, we just bought a whole bunch more hoodies, and I got pretty much everything we need to fill the orders that we have like 5 times over. So I don't do a ton of merch going out the door, but every bit that I do helps keep things moving here. But of course, I don't keep the money. I put it right back into the shop, or I put it right back into more merch. So it's all appreciated. JB's little shop is here. Bad Tree Productions. Blake is here. Blake, you know, this is right up your alley. It's not really up mine. I'm learning all kinds of things about Mopars, and you'll see it in the video. But there's a reason why there's Mopar people and not Mopar people. And I will just say, after this car, I will probably be a not Mopar person. But for now, I've got my Mopar racing flag right up there. It's kind of a rainbow on that flag. John says if you're going to go turbo, I'm just going to stop you there. Not probably going to happen on this car while I'm driving it. I'd be more likely, if this next video on this car does well, which would make me keep it, I'd be more likely to find a Magnum 360 maybe to put in here. That would be very cool. Kelly says I should buy a school bus. No. No place to park it. I mean, here at the lake, the parking is very tight, and I have way too many cars for the spot I'm in now. So no school buses. There's just not enough room. 100 shot of NOS would be cheaper than a turbo, and would be a good way to send this one off to welcome in a 360. But to do that, the video has to do well. Yes, Chinese turbo on Chinese parts would be fun. Michael Howard, 20 beers are the same as a turbo. I mean, maybe. That's a lot of beers. One is more than enough for me. Where did I find the 318 Chinese intake? Let's see. We were coming back from, I remember. We were driving from Vegas to, basically, it's Golden Valley, but basically Kingman, where this car had been sitting in the desert. It's right on the edge of Arizona and Nevada in the desert. And I was Googling pretty much everything I could find for this car, and it popped up on eBay. So I've heard that you can find them on eBay or Amazon, but I found mine on eBay. Ordered it. It finally showed up. Kind of like the distributor for the Volkswagen over there. That thing has gone to Dallas like 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks because we ordered it, and it just kept making a circle going to the northeast part of the country. It went out west, then it went back to Dallas, and it just kept rotating in this cyclonic circle, never getting delivered to Oklahoma. It finally got delivered today. Smitty says hello from South Central PA, freezing South Central PA. The Mopar would be a lot cooler without the hideous mirrors. Hey, those are remote mirrors, man. Those are high end. This is the premier Volare. Just don't mind that the interior is completely turned to dust. Hunter's here, JB's here. Welcome, guys. Chain Hoy says you're hooked with this car. I mean, I'm stuck with it for now. Mike doesn't like turbos. Mad Pickle says electric turbo. Sure, that seems fun. Louise says Las Vegas. Yes, I don't know if you remembered, but we picked this car up outside of Las Vegas. It was on this roadkill ripoff that Dalton and I did. Hey, thanks, Cowboy. It does help to hit the like. Um, it's just a live, but it is helpful. I appreciate it. Rodney Johnson has in-depth engine questions. Um, it's a lot to read, but I know Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage would have a great recommendation for you. I do not build engines. I'm going to learn, but I do not build engines. I just put pretty parts on them and hope they run. I will be putting uh, a wrong cam from Richard Holdner. Sent me a wrong cam for this LS that somebody gave me, and at some point that'll happen, but I don't know what I'm going to put the LS in, so it's kind of pointless to even touch it right now. It's a Mopar Order 5 starters. Well, the old Dolphin starter on this one still works great. You just shove the fork into the ignition switch and give it a crank, and it does the Dolphin thing. All right. JP said Mopars aren't bad. Just have to think differently when messing with them. Where's that part at? So this is how I thought differently today. Nobody had the part I needed. So I went to the hardware store. Not even kidding. Went to Ace Hardware to find the parts that I needed. So sometimes you just have to improvise and be okay with not using the factory original part. And when they're seized onto the original cast iron intake, the only way that's coming out with a torch, and it's no good to you anyway. So yes, I got very creative and patient with my Mopar today. Daryl said he did watch the video. We had an interesting trip. Yes, we did. And if more people had watched Dalton's video, we could do it again. But it performed very poorly, and it's unfortunate because it was a lot of fun. But it didn't do as well as he'd hoped. It never hit the algorithm the way it should have. So probably not doing Roadkill ripoff again. But it was fun. I did enjoy it. Joseph, hello from Topeka. That's way up there. Brandon says, if I do go turbo, look into oilless turbo. They're awesome. He's running one on his 306 cylinder. I'm just going to be honest. I'm probably not going to turbo it. I may turbo something someday, but it's a lot of work and things blow up. And at this point, I'm trying to then sell the cars. So here, take this garbage I built, and I hope it doesn't blow up. Can't be seized if it's a liquid. Well, that's true, but you also can't reuse it, which is what I needed to do. So plumbing parts to the rescue. Somebody says, well, you could order it. You can order it, and it can be here within, I would say, a week according to the shipping. But here lately, everything that's supposed to be 2 to 3 days out has taken weeks. So I don't trust it, and I want this video out before the end of the weekend, and I'm sure you do too, and it's not going to work if I have to wait on parts. John says he's in Southwest Montana, bragger, and that if he was closer, he'd help me wrench. Well, like I said, Ray came in today, wrenching with Ray. He came out of his place over in Southwest Missouri, and really, we got a lot done today, so I appreciated him showing up. JB says the AC work at even has chrome bolts. Now that's cool. They had some stainless stuff there when I was there today, but I didn't see chrome. That'd be awesome. Zip TIE Fighter would like to see fat tires in the back with a nice rake stance. Well, maybe the air leaked out, but the air shocks took air. The air shocks that were on the car when I got it took air and were holding. And I'm working on the wider stance. I can't put, I'm not going to buy wider rims, number one, because I wouldn't get them in time for the video. And number two, I just don't need to do that. So I've got a plan, and it's going to give a wider look. I wanted 275s when we got these tires, but they didn't have them and couldn't get them in the time we had, only had a day. So 255s it is. And I'm glad I didn't get the 275s, because the way these wheels are set, it would have ended up rubbing into the, you know, rear suspension. So 255s it is, and they work. They're fine. They need to stick out further, and to do that I need a reverse rim to do that. Let's see. Everybody's basically saying, how was it not watched? Well, Dalton has 260 some thousand subs, and at the time, I don't know what it is now, but those videos were only about 160,000 views. So not even his whole sub count was watching, let alone the rest of the world. So does that tell you the video did well or not? And I'm going to just say not. I mean, for me, that would be great. 100,000 view videos, amazing. This one was 100,000 views. I could afford to put a little bit more effort into this car, but for him, he needs more views, and they both just tanked. But I think that K5 Blazer plow thing did really well, so who knows? I'm not in charge of his YouTube, but I can tell you he was less than excited about the views. We always love views, but we needed a lot more views to be able to justify doing that trip again. We both want to do it again, but it's just really not getting the views he wants. Let's see. Joe asked, what's my favorite retro wheel combo? Honestly, whatever fits the car. Like, I do not care for these, but I also have nothing else, and these were free. So I do not like black wheels, I can tell you that. And if I can help it, these won't be black when I'm done. What do I like? I like shiny, I like chrome. I don't mind painted stuff, only if that's what I got, or if it fits the car. Like this car over here had painted silver wheels. Well, if you watched my last live, we experimented with a teal color. It will not be, the wheels will not be that color. They're just too hideous. But we experimented, and that's the beauty of doing this kind of stuff. Experiment, try different things, come up with something you like. Maybe some other car that color would work, but I think we're just gonna go with a more neutral color, not the silver, but something neutral. What do I really like? Honestly, anything that looks good. Brian Vantana looked really good with the Vector wheels, but those are now on the 18 van, so whatever. I'm kind of open to whatever. I love white letters. White letters always. Kelly wants to tell PBG to make a new video about the school bus that he has. He doesn't have a school bus. Hello, Chris Brown. Polly is from Helena, Montana. I love Montana. It's so pretty. Cowboys hanging a broken arrow. I'm getting through comments. Sorry, guys. Cantankers took 2.5 weeks to get his distributor for his AMC 360. You know what I'm going through. It's been a struggle here lately. And I can't just say it's weather or fires or anything else. I think somebody's just really not doing their job very well. Allie says she's happy to hit 100 views. Well, there was a point. I agree with you. But now I'm trying to at least get closer to my sub count, which blows my mind if I've got 100,000 views and I only have 60,000 subs. I'm not upset about that, but couldn't hit the subscribe button. Maybe they're just not, they're like, okay, 100,000 views, but you haven't sold me yet. I get that. And I tell everybody, feel free to subscribe, and then if you don't like it, unsubscribe later. And they do. It's okay. Usually for every 1 I lose, I gain like 10. So it's really okay. Landyacht likes 200 views. Well, guys, you got to have a goal and shoot for it. And if you hit it, great. Brandon says, I've noticed a few YouTubers' videos doing poorly when they're doing something good for the community. Yeah, the Rambler, or the Rebel, I mean, when we did the Rebel, it just didn't do great by itself. And yeah, we did end up doing some toys at the end, but I think the car was too good. It didn't fail enough. And when you add in that we then bought a really, really good wagon, it didn't fail enough. We did fun things and we did do work to it. We upgraded some stuff and fixed the timing and drove it on a dry lake bed. And yet it, I don't know. It was still a lot of fun. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. We had a great time. Dalton is an excellent host and road trip buddy. We had a good time. Let's see. Thanks, Louise. Answer 14 says, pretty new to the channel. Enjoy the videos. Telling the buddies, check it out. Love the F-body. Thanks. Welcome. I hadn't seen you in here, but I'm glad you're here. I do have a couple years worth of videos. Some of them are not good. Some of them are okay. And a few of them are really good. I'm hoping to have more really good in the future. So if you stick around, you might get to see a really good one. That's all I can promise. John says slots would look good. Maybe I can find some Chinese slots. I don't know. We're going to go with the D wheels for now because they're on the car. I've got way too much money wrapped up in, granted the wheels were free, but I got way too much money wrapped up in the way it is right now. So in the future, it definitely needs some upgrades. I would love some slots on here. Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage says, don't get him started on views. And there's a reason, because that guy is really better at mechanic work than I am. He's actually a real mechanic. And I'm not saying that I haven't worked in a shop before, but he's legit. He knows what he's doing. He can build engines, transmissions, whatever. And he doesn't get the views. So if you want to check him out, go do so. He's right there in the chat. Give him a look. If there's something you don't like, tell him. We love those kind of comments. Tell us what you don't like, because that's always helpful. Some guy said, I'm just an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm making videos. Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you, Robert, for correcting the bus. It is Junkyard Digs, not Keith, Kevin from Iowa. It is his. He dumped it there, hasn't picked it up. I got an urgent message, but I'll have to get to it after this live. It's on another car that I'm trying to get. John, thanks for popping into the live with Inevitable Jim. That was pretty great. He just happened to be down this way, and he asked if he could come over, and you know, he wanted me to buy him a dinner, and which I did. If you come wrench with me, like Ray did today, I will buy you food. I took Ray out to lunch too. The least I could do for all of his fabrication work. Daryl says he watched all the videos on that, and I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. It takes every single view to matter. Like, honestly, I personally am not upset with the amount of views that he got. I'm not upset at all with the amount of views I got. But when you're a bigger YouTuber and you're trying to grow, there's a ceiling. And you got to keep breaking those plateaus. You got to just keep doing it. And he was hoping that video would help him out. He needed a bigger YouTuber to go with him. I loved going, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But having a bigger YouTuber would have helped him quite a bit, because then you kind of get into their group of viewers as well as your own, and then that'll also pick up new viewers to both channels. I mean, that's what really needed to happen, but nobody else could free up their schedule. Me, I'm always available. I am busy, but when Dalton calls, I'm going to come running. He's my friend. Let's see. John says to call Mortsky, collect slots. I've talked to Mortsky several times, and very nice guy, but I don't want to go up in the cold right now to deal with it. Maybe we'll find that perfect project that either he has or I have and I need parts for, and I'll meet up with Mortsky. He seems very open to doing that. Dalton needs to do a collaboration with Kevin and Vice Grip. Well, if it's going to be with Kevin, it's either Kevin coming down or the weather warming up, because Dalton ain't going north in this cold. And Derek is not, I'm not saying anything bad about Derek. He's just not as much into collaborating, because you have to look at the situation. He's got 2 million subscribers. What does he gain by doing a collaboration with a small channel? He's just basically giving away charity. But nothing against Derek. Derek's worked for everything he's got, and so is Dalton. Dalton will be there. It's just going to take a little more time. He's impatient because he is ambitious and he is goal-oriented. Anyway, I'm excited for my friend because we both started this out long ago with Jay, even all of us, and Dalton has the personality and took off, and we're proud of him. I can't compete with the guy. He's that good. He's just really good. Thomas says he likes what we do. Reminds me of how he does things. I feel sorry for you. I don't do them well. We literally made parts today to make this work, because the Chinese stuff doesn't come with all the stuff you need, brackets and stuff, and the stuff that was on the car definitely doesn't work. So we made stuff. It was a lot of fun. We took stuff I have laying around and we cut it and drilled it and we made it work. Angel Raven asked about tariffs and will it affect car parts. I mean, I don't have a lot on that political stance, only because I've just started paying attention. My guess, and only a guess, I have no factual information here, is this cheap stuff won't be as cheap, which could do a couple of things. It could then drive the prices up to where you can't afford any parts, or maybe it'll bring the American parts down a little bit so they're not $400 or $500 where this was $150. Maybe there's a happy medium. Obviously, the American part is what I would have preferred to put in here, but when you're looking at $500, $800, almost $1,000 worth of stuff, and I could do this for under $200, this is what I chose because it was available. Now, if it's not available anymore, then I have to do it. Usually I like to buy all American parts, but they're very hard to find some days. All right, still catching up on comments. People say they found me because of PBG. That seems logical. A lot of people found me before that, and some people find me for other random reasons. So however you find me, I'm glad you're here. I mean, I literally walk up to people at the gas station and they go, oh, I like your car or truck or whatever I'm in, and I hand them a sticker. I literally, heck, let me check. Yep, I always have a sticker in my pocket just in case. Kevin and VGG collabed on a boat. Might be the last collab you see between the two. Nothing against either one of them, but they're both big and they're both busy channels. And other than Kevin hanging out with Dalton and then they collab, I don't know that you'll see that out of Derek. Derek is so busy right now. Just from what I talked to him at Duct Tape Drags, he's got so much going on. Like literally he was hosting Duct Tape Drags, and then he was having to drive that whole trailer, car, everything home, and then he was getting on a plane the next day to go do another thing. So I mean, they're busy guys. Not gonna say never. Daryl says Dalton, Kevin, Dylan, oh, and I guess me need to do a collaboration. I would never say no. But again, what do those big channels get out of me? I mean, I'm a good camera guy. I can run a camera for them. But I can also work on stuff. So it's a matter of if I got some equal sized channels together and we did a collab, that would be beneficial to all of us. And I guess that's why I just need to go ahead and push. I'm going to encourage you guys to share this out, not just this, but my channel out. If we can get it to 100,000 subs, I'll have a lot more pull with other channels to do collabs. I'll have a lot more pull with sponsors. Not that I want a whole bunch of sponsored stuff, but it definitely helps. And it would just help. I'm not trying to encourage you to help me be famous. It's not about the fame. It's about continuing this product that I have, which are the videos and the cars and just getting out there and doing. You guys want me to collab with people like Puddin', but I tell you, I talked to Jacob Warner. Good man. Really enjoyed talking to him. But again, 200, however many subs he has, what does he gain by collabing with me? A guy that'll help him wrench, and I have offered it, and he has accepted it. If he ever needs any help, and he's in this area, that he will call me up. He's got my number. But the truth is, he's got friends. He's got a network already. I'm just one more phone number in his phone. So more subs gets us more pull to be able to do more collaboration. Dalton, I'll always be there for Dalton, whether I'm on camera or not, because he's my friend. If he says he just needs help moving furniture, I'm going to show up. You're not going to see that on camera, but I'm going to be there for him. Hey, right there, I was just talking about him. Wrenching with Ray. Go check out his channel. He came and did most of the work you see on the car today. Auto Alley says she should start carrying more stickers and handing them out. It works for me. I mean, I wear my own merch because I'm cheap and I don't want to go buy clothes. And most of the time when I do buy clothes, it's at the thrift store or the secondhand store or whatever you want to call it. I don't like buying new stuff ever. But these stickers are not expensive. Wherever you get yours made, make sure they're a good high quality sticker. And I always carry some in the vehicle. I carry them in my pocket. And all the way to Duct Tape Drags and back, every time I stopped, I handed out stickers. Not because I looked for people to hand out stickers, but if they said something about, I really like the van, or when I was in this car and I had the fuel hose hanging on it like it is, people were like, you really drive that thing? I was like, yeah, it's sitting in the desert for 20 years and we rescued it. We're driving it home, 1,200 miles. Right here. This is my calling card, so I just hand them a sticker and say, go check it out on YouTube. And they do. They watch it. And those 10 or 20 views I get out of that trip, or 10 or 20 views I wouldn't have had, because they didn't even, I mean, they're watching TikTok or something. They weren't watching YouTube. But they did because they saw me and now they want to see me on video. Chris says it's got a little less to do now that Motor Trend quit doing videos and he no longer has roadworthy restorations. That doesn't slow him down. He's now ventured out into event hosting, and we're talking about Derek, I assume. Event hosting, he now has his own, I want to say like merch garage, merch building. he's expanding. He's building his brand even bigger. So it's not that he lost a thing and now he has more time. This is one source of revenue that's gone that he now has to make somewhere else. So Derek's just a busy guy. Schmutz says, sometimes the sponsors help you continue your hobby, teach people stuff without it costing you a ton. I agree. But what I don't want is so overly sponsored stuff that I have to go buy this part because the sponsor said so. All of this was acquired by me. Now, the carb Phil gave me, which I appreciate Phil doing that, but I would have probably bought the same one, so it just saved me a couple $100. I'm not going to lie and say I spent all this money. No, I did buy these things, but the carb was given to me. Oh, let's see. Rodney says, am I going to do the tour this year? Which one? I buy tickets to events and then don't always make it. So the plan is I bought some tickets to some events. Duct tape is going to happen. If I have to fly in and buy a car and fix it right then, I will. But I prefer to have something ready to go at least the week before. Redneck Rebuild says, I wouldn't want to be that big. I have 2 teenage boys and we're hopefully going to do things together on here. So if you want a YouTube channel just for fun, and I'm not saying you don't want to make a little money off of it, but if you're not trying to do it as your primary employment, do YouTube for fun. It's a great tool to look back and just enjoy the things that you did with the people that you did them with. It's awesome for that. If you're trying to make money at it, you really have to try to put out a new video every week, and that's hard. I'm telling you, it's my full-time job, and it's still hard because I get hung up waiting for parts. This car, where is it? They're over there. It's probably going to be February before you see it in a video because parts. Michael says, Puddin' don't need to gain anything from helping you. He's just that good of a dude, and all of his subscribers are very loyal. The guy sells a lot of merch. He's a super nice guy. I agree. I've met him in person. He did not know how to YouTube channel then, and I didn't know who the heck he was then. But he was a very nice guy. He was very personable. And then fast forward to everybody wanting me to collab with Puddin' on the Datsun or anything, because we're both Oklahoma and nearby, right? It's 3.5 hours away from me. But the truth is, we did talk at length about that, and he was super awesome, very respectful, and what I got out of it is it's probably not going to happen, but if it ever does, we have the ability to contact each other. So that you guys opened that communication with him, but it's not going to probably end in a collab. And that's okay. Just the fact that if I need something, I know how to reach him. Brandon says, buys merch, would dream to wrench with you at some point, but he's in Michigan, and we don't go to the Great White North because it's Great White cold. Auto Alley says, do I think about Power Tour since it's in my area? It's not anywhere near me. At least I don't think so. Like, I'm cleared out in Oklahoma. It seemed to be very, very far away. But did I buy a ticket? Yes, I bought tickets to Power Tour. I'm not saying I'm not going. I'm just saying it's not near me. Let's see. Gunther just finished dinner. It's always alive. He loves his hoodie and his travel all shirt. Thanks, Gunther. Let's see. Power Tour. Yes, we talked about that. Okay, Angel Raven, do I do motorcycle stuff or other power sports? Well, I did a golf cart that did horribly on the internet, so I won't be doing more golf carts. I thought it was fun and entertaining, but apparently nobody else thought so. So, no more golf carts. Do I have a motorcycle? Yes. I found it in a barn. This was long before YouTube. I got it running, and I rode it for almost every day for a year. In the snow, in the rain, all of it. And I do have it, and it has been sitting for close to 5 years now. So it's almost a will it run again. And at some point, if I need filler, I will put it out, and it will probably get no views, but I will put it out, and you guys can watch it at some point. It's nothing great, but I do have a motorcycle. Hanlon says, what's your plans with the Volare? Right here. Giving it more Chinese power. And I'm going to spruce it up. I'm giving it a race car look. Jay says, Daryl says, Jay wants me to take the Volare on Power Tour. Well, I'd like to take Becca. That's my significant other. And she's scared to get in this car because you guys may or may not have noticed the interior is destroyed and it was full of rat droppings. And I just put a blanket over me to just kind of seal that in and also to keep me warm. And so that dust wasn't in my face. I did wear a mask to begin with, but once the wind, because the windows don't really roll up either, once the wind kind of blew all that dust out, it's still in there, but I don't know if I could clean this car up well enough to get her in it with me. Also, no turn signals. These are unobtainium parts right here. You can't get them. I have some ideas, but for now, it lacks a lot of parts to make it not get me a ticket. I mean, I got lucky all the way back. 1,200 miles with no turn signals. I got lucky. All right. But yes, I would like to take it somewhere. It'd be fun. Reed says he started his channel just to have fun. Robert is watching Roadworthy Rescues and me at the same time. Which one's got your attention, Robert? Robert, are you paying attention? Don't be watching Derek. Watch me. Allie said I was further north. Well, when I lived in Kansas, I guess I was further north, but it wasn't anywhere near Power Tour. I am Oklahoma. So if you go to the corner of Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, I'm like here. Land Yacht says, I don't get not wanting to do a collab with someone regardless of fame. Here's the thing. If a big YouTuber was stuck on the side of the road and a small YouTuber showed up and said, here, I'm here to help, I guarantee you they're going to let them help. Car guys are car guys no matter what. But there is that liability of having a channel that you don't know participate in your channel, and that means you kind of vouch for them, and then they go and they get themselves in trouble, and that gives you a bad name too. So you got to be cautious. Let's see. John asked, do I have a car in mind for duct tape drags? Whatever one is running and or acquired at least the week before. That's what I got. I don't anticipate keeping any of these cars for very long. Brian Vantana will be around, but I don't want to take another van to duct tape. And my 63 Grand Prix, but I want to do so much work to that I can't afford it. So when I can't afford it, you'll see that car back on the channel. Let's see. Redneck Rebuilds. Buff, I need a good GoPro so my boys and I can record our travels. My oldest is autistic and will be riding for autism awareness. That's cool reason to be riding. I don't like GoPros. I know that I have several friends who use GoPros, and I have nothing against them using them, and they put out great videos with them. I don't like GoPros. I've never had good success with them. I've had battery failures. I've had them overheat. I've had them freeze. I've had them do everything except do videos. And I've hit the record button and have them not record. I have two different ones and I don't like either of them. So I use a Panasonic Lumix camera. Love it. It works really good. During the A-Team video, you saw that I destroyed it. And I did, but I was able to get it back up and running. And now I have a second one, so now I've got some portability. Let's see. For turn signals, this is Auto Alley, by the way. She says, for turn signals, grade A light diffuser from the hardware section of Lowe's and a sheet of plexiglass. I made a tail light for a friend's dump truck, and they've lasted for years versus the stock ones. I like it. In fact, this car has no tail lights. Well, it has trailer lights, but no tail lights. So I might be going to the hardware store, Allie. Thank you for sharing that. Rodney was talking about the auto tour where you go state to state. I think you mean Hot Rod Power Tour. And I have paid for the ticket. We'll see if I am able to go. Auto Alley, please. You've got my... I believe you're definitely on Instagram. I don't know if you're on my Facebook. Either way, buffsgarage@gmail.com. However you want to send it, I will receive it because you're awesome. I appreciate you. Chris's garage is from Miami. Miami. And that's right there, about 30 minutes. Whoa. Oh, sorry, kicked you guys. That's where I go to watch my movies because they have reclining seats in the movie theater. I actually like Miami. It's a cool little town. Where I live, the town is, there's nothing there. Like to go get car parts, it's an hour round trip. So, yeah. Thomas says he's in Arkansas, always looking for any of you all to come through. What part of Arkansas? Because when this video comes out on this car way over there, I do believe we're cutting through Arkansas. I have a full plan, but that's why the video won't come out until the trip happens. If the car doesn't move, then the trip might not happen. But I did get the distributor today. It showed up right after Ray left. Kent Goodall, do I know anyone with a 3D printer for the front blinker lens? I know one guy, but he does really high-end stuff like your blinker lens would be $300. So I don't know anybody with an inexpensive 3D printer, but maybe somebody in the chat does. Christopher says, am I close to Lee at Clunkers and Classics? I don't know who Lee or that is. Sorry. Hanlon, sorry, I almost got it wrong. Hanlons wants to take his Buick T-Type on Power Tour. Rescued it from 18 years of sleep. Very cool. If you are there and I am there, then come say hi. I'd love to see it. Ray says I can take his LS swapped Porsche 944. I do like a Porsche 944. It was one of my favorite cars growing up because I was young and I didn't know any better. But an LS swapped one, at least it's going to start and run. Daryl Mattis said, I would start a YouTube channel, but it would be working on vans because he loves vans. I'm camera shy. I'm afraid of making a fool of myself. The whole point of being successful in YouTube is making a fool of yourself. If you get on there and you try to look professional and try to do everything right, and you don't throw a wrench and you don't mess up, and or in editing you cut out all your mess ups, you might as well not make a channel. The messing up is what makes it real. And I've said it more and more. I don't set up disasters. I don't set up situations to fail, but I also don't prevent them. So you don't go to the NASCAR race to watch everybody left turn. You go to see the crashes. That's how you should do your YouTube channel. Expect the crashes, set the camera up and hit record. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. It will happen eventually. Redneck Rebuilds. Can I get a mount for that camera? I assume you're talking about the one I have. I mean, it's on a tripod. If you're talking about in the car, GoPro's probably better. I've also used a 4K recording phone. Hey, Tim Windsor. And get back to work, Ray. I didn't work you hard enough today. You went back to work this evening. Let's see. Angel Raven, drone footage that follows the car is cool, as well as 360 cameras. I don't know about 360 cameras, but I do have a drone. I've crashed 2 of my drones. My third one I have not crashed yet. It was used in Dalton's video when we had the wagon out in Vegas. I used my drone on that one. I love that drone. It's really good. I'm just now learning all its features, and I have learned that it does have a follow me mode, so I can make it follow the car. However, where I live, there's so many trees, I'm afraid to do it. So I need to get out to an open area with not a lot of trees and test it. And once I'm comfortable with it, then I'll probably use it more in videos. But there's a ton of trees here at the lake. All right, let's see. Joseph said, sounds like Welch, Oklahoma. His wife and he used to live there. Well, that's about 45 minutes from where I'm at. I like the woodshed there. It's a really good one. Thomas is in Gassville. Rodney wants to know, will I do a Dodge 100 short bed? I mean, I don't own one. If there was a good price on one, it has a title. And good price, I mean cheap. There's a good possibility I'd do one. Thanks, Tim, for all the support. Thank you, Jay, for always posting the links. I appreciate you and moderating. Seriously, guys, Jay has a ton of knowledge, and he tries to put it in his videos, but he also tries to be a little bit entertaining. But go check him out. It's a different speed than me, and it's definitely a different speed than Dalton. But you won't be surprised, I don't think, that Dalton's actually in some of his videos. The Holy Goat is in one of his videos. Go check him out. Chainhoy says Lexan or plexiglass. Yes. So you see these fancy rear quarter windows back here, the opera windows. Well, I want to get rid of those. And I've got really cool louvers to put there, but there's no glass under that. So I may just get a whole sheet and do some windows and maybe some lights. We'll see. Redneck Rebuild says use a clear bottle and make a front lens. My 69 Caddy said Dr. Pepper if you looked close enough. That's pretty cool. Reed's Garage. What do I use for editing videos? Exclusively right now, Filmora. So I have tried other things. I do not edit on my phone. I'm using 4K. 4K editing on a phone would be a nightmare. So I take everything off of whatever devices I use multiple cameras, drones, different angles, and I take all of that and I put it onto my laptop. And now I've learned I also then back it up on an SSD drive. And I still have the little cards as third backup. And then I do all the editing on Filmora. And then once the video is done, then I offload all that stuff to save space on the laptop. I also clear the memory cards or the SD cards for the cameras. And then I have the finished product uploaded on YouTube. So if I ever need it, there it is. I try not to keep all my raw data, although it would be handy. I just don't have that kind of storage. That would be a lot of terabytes. Okay. Thomas Robert says, my wife is a person that asked you if you want to work on an Avalanche on the last live stream. Awesome. I don't want to work on the one I got. So no offense to her. I hope she didn't get upset with my response, but I don't want to work on the one I have. If somebody would come buy it as is, I would sell it as is. It runs and drives, but I'm pretty sure it's going to need the transmission rebuilt. It currently runs and drives, but I do not try to scam anybody. With a fresh battery in it, that thing will fire up. Once it goes through the learning process in the computer, it smooths out, runs great. AC's cold, heat's warm. It's fine, but I'm pretty sure it needs a new transmission. I have another transmission. I just don't want to change it. I'm that lazy. No, I'm just really that busy. I don't have time to do it. Let's see. John is jumping out to sub wrenching with Ray. Well, thank you. Ray understands that he's got a limited group of people that kind of want to see what he's doing, but he's my friend, and go see what he got going on. And if you like it, awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. But he does have some cool cars. John says gold or copper colored wheels on the VW. I got vetoed. I do have copper. I don't have gold. I have copper. I got vetoed right away on the copper. That was a big no. And it's because this car, even though I bought it and it's for the channel, Becca wants to keep it. I try not to keep any of them, but Becca wants to keep that one. And she just spent the amount that I spent on the car. She spent that to buy a new top for it. So she kind of has a say. We're doing Will It Run because it hasn't ran in a very long time. So fuel pump, distributor, mechanical, Bosch mechanical fuel injection. We're going to work on that. Brakes because it has none. And it is a manual with a clutch. And we're going to do full interior and top and travel. We're going to try to do it all in one video. So that video I hope does well because we're doing all the things on YouTube. The Will It Run and interior and all of it. And then we're going to take a trip and it's all going to be in one. The question was, is Jay Irish Outlaw Garage? Yes. Trent asks, am I close to Baxter Springs? I just drove through there a while back, so I'd say 30, 45 minutes. I mean, if you go through Miami and you go up that way, so however far it is from Miami, Oklahoma, I'm about 30-ish minutes from Miami. I don't actually live in a town. I live on the lake. And no, I don't live in a nice big lake house. I just live in a tiny little house that's inexpensive and surrounded by really expensive houses that nobody lives in except for like 3 weekends a year. So it's really quiet. Literally have deer right out the door. It's pretty awesome. Holy cow, the holy goat. We don't see much of that car anymore. You don't. Because people don't watch those videos anymore. They loved the build of the holy goat and they loved seeing it out and about. But the truth is, once they've seen it, nobody really watches the videos. It's a great car. Hey, $2 Garage gifted a membership. Thanks, man. VW video sounds good. God, I hope so. I hope the VW video does well. Not just for you guys, because I want to entertain you guys, but I've spent what's going to be a month and a half preparing and getting this car and getting it ready. And I mean, you're always seeing it in the background, never working on it because I'm waiting on parts. We're doing interior work. I haven't done any of that since my high school days. And spoiler alert, I'm doing it exactly like I did back then. I am not an interior guy. I am faking it. I am doing exactly what I did in my high school days. So it's going to be fun and entertaining. And then if it runs and drives, we're going to drive it, I want to say, at over 1,000 miles, probably 1,500 miles. Hopefully it does fine. Redneck Rebuilds, Daryl Mattis. That Holy Goat has distributor problems because Dalton lost the phone that connects to it. Right, but he can put another distributor in it. What really happened that you guys may or may not have remembered, the Sky Goat happened. And Dalton had to do a last minute engine change. I was there to help him with that. And the entire accessory drive from the engine that he built for the Sky Goat did not fit on the engine he put in the Sky Goat. And so he stole all the accessory bracketry off of the Holy Goat to put on there. So you hate taking from a good car that fires right up and runs and drives, but he did. So he'll get it back together. Sam has a 83 GTI, so you're waiting on the Cabrio vid. Well, why aren't you here helping me? Somebody said that they're a Bosch fuel injection whisperer, and I'm just saying, come help. I'm dealing with this Hall effect sensor and the distributor, so I just bought a whole new distributor because I'm not getting power to the coil consistently. And without power to the coil, you get no spark at the distributor, you get no spark at the spark plugs, and even though I got fuel, I can't test it because I don't have spark. So it's pain. I don't know if I just have a bad computer, and if that's the case, I gotta go find one of those. $2 garage, got my third 944 running. That's cool. Welcome, Joseph. Thanks for joining the Tappy Tap Club. Chocolate Dragon, didn't find your channel until I saw you with Dalton. Glad I found it, but enjoying the content. Need to pick up an older American car to toy with. Been keeping a 91 BMW 325i going. That sounds expensive. Unless you're in Germany. Cool cars. I've had multiple chances to pick those up for cheap, but as much problems as I'm having with the Mopar, I'm having even more with that little VW. And of course, that's a lot newer. I say a lot newer. It's an 80 something, and this is a 78. So surprisingly enough, for the parts that are hard to find for that one, they're even harder for that. So I miss GM cars. And if I only did GM, nobody would watch me. But GM cars, all the parts are on the shelf. Excuse me. I can go to O'Reilly's right now and buy all the parts I need for my GM car. All right, well, the comments have slowed. Do you guys have any questions before I go? It's past my dinner time and getting close to my bedtime. A fuel distributor. I assume that's similar to what I'm dealing with. But I broke 3 flat blade screwdrivers trying to get my fuel injection apart to clean it. And what I was told is I need a different kind of screwdriver that apparently it's basically like a jackhammer. And it's screwdriver and you whack it and it twists, and I'm going to get one of those at some point. I mean, if you have passion for the BMW, I can understand why you would continue to have one and maintain it. And once you know them, you know them. I just personally don't know them, and therefore I would be doing what I'm doing with these cars, which is diving into unknown territory. Somebody else that knows Mopars could have walked in here and figured this thing out in no time. Me, I'm looking at it, scratching my head, finally just said screw it and started doing stuff, and I'm figuring it out slowly. Daryl asked, what year is the Volare? 78. Yeah, Impact. It's Impact screwdriver, apparently. Rooster Jello has been watching Pole Barn, Buff, Junkyard, VGG is moving up. He likes blue collar tubes. So VGG has to continue to be creative and competitive in a world of everyone doing the same type of video. So I know he's trying to mix it up. He's also trying, like he told me, he loves the events, but people don't really watch those videos. So how do you juggle going and doing an event that you love to do and still putting out the video to keep people happy? So you gotta mix it up. Redneck Rebells, can you work on my bike? I assume the motorcycle? I mean, I like working on it, but it's just been sitting for 5 years. What do you want to do? Just make it run again? I've got a whole box of oil filter and fuel filter and all kinds of stuff for it just sitting here. Oh, a brand new battery for it. I mean, it's all sitting here waiting. I'm not saying no. If you're getting that, I'm not gonna ever say no. Thank you, Auto Alley. You are a blessing. An impact driver, the fake tappy tap. Yeah, I mean, I should know what that is, but I worked on humans for 30 years, so cars were just in the background. And I have a lot of good tools. Like I got a real metal cutting saw. I didn't just buy that. I've had that, but it's I do have some good stuff, but I don't have all the stuff. Daryl, my wife wanted to ask you if you'd do a 79 Monte Carlo. Maybe, but preferably not if it's not mine. It's hard to work on other people's cars because you end up getting to a point that it either needs to have a lot more money put into it, or I've put so much into it that now, you know, it's it's difficult doing other people's stuff. I'm not saying I wouldn't try to revive somebody else's stuff. I did it once and it got to a point where the car needed the work that I wanted to do to make it run and drive, and the person didn't want to invest that into it. And so now I have videos with cars that don't run and drive. It's easier when it's mine. That way, if it doesn't run and drive, it's my fault. And if it gets too expensive, that's also my fault. And I'm not taking from anybody else. So anyway, chain hoist. Do I know anyone that has a 73, 76 Gran Torino Sport hood? No. PSC Mentalist, 96 Ford Probe running after getting it back from Tennessee, badly abused. Mike says, it's the brain, remove it, look at it to see if it's melted in the back of it, it will be bad. Are you talking about the one under the dash? Because it is a fully enclosed computer. Otherwise, nothing else is melted. And I didn't see anything melted in the computer. It looked fine. But it's just kind of up under the dash. I hope it's not the brain. Okay, well, we're wrapping everything up. I appreciate every one of you guys dropping in today. I don't usually like to do a lot of lives, but I just had a little bit of time and thought I'd talk to you guys. I got to get home. I'm way late. So, Becca, I'm coming home. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will get you guys updated. Watch the Instagram, the Facebook, and I guess TikTok again, because we got that back. And of course, you'll be seeing the Volare very soon in a video, full length, seeing me bring back the Mopar Performance Edel Walk. All right. See you guys later. Thanks again.